Hey guys, good morning. Fishmonger here. I'm going to be taking you down the road of explaining the search index values, which are known as the delay, the maximum value for the search index, on how you can adjust them and what they do and why they're important to Fishmonger, and setting Fishmonger up to make it so it fishes the best for you. So on the status window screen here, you can see it says search index number, and last time I stopped it, I was on number 17 out of a maximum value of 75. That's the search index max number. And I have it set for a delay of 150. In order to adjust those values, on the advanced options button, which brings up the advanced options window, you have a second tab, search and track. And then under here it says the bobber searching adjustments. We've got our delay and we've got our max. The delay, which has a range of 25 to 1000, is actually in milliseconds. So 1000, which is 1000 milliseconds, is actually 1 second. So if you had this at a value of 500, it would be a half a second. 250 would be a quarter of a second, etc. The search index max is just a number. So it's basically the number of search indexes that it performs. And the first thing you want to adjust or that you want to change is your delay. And what the delay does is well, I'll show you. I'm going to put it at 500, which is a half a second. And I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to hit start fishing. And you're going to notice that the search index number here is going to count up or increment every half a second. Because that's what we set it to. We told it to have a delay of 500, which in this case is 500 milliseconds, or a half a second. And what that is doing, or why that's important, is because it's incrementing after every half a second. It is adjusting the sensitivity, or it's providing a number for the sensitivity at that value, which is every half a second. Essentially, it's looking at your search window for the bobber and looking for movement at that speed. In this case, every half a second. So, with the value of a half a second being as low and as slow as it is, it's not fast enough for you to really detect the movement in the bobber. And one of the ways you can picture this is like close your eyes and then open your eyes for a brief second every half a second. The bobber may actually move up and down within the time frame that your eyes are closed. And if that's the case, you're not going to see the bobber move. It's just going to look like the bobber's staying in one spot the whole time, which is essentially what Fishmonger would see. It would not see movement in the bobber. So you want to set your delay to be a low enough number where it can see the movement value in that bobber. So for instance, if I set it to 125, that's going to be 0.125 of a second, which is actually an eighth of a second. So basically, picture your eyes are closed, and then every eighth of a second, if you open your eyes real quick and then close them, that's how fast Fishmonger is going to be looking at the search window to look for movement in the bobber. So now if you look at my search index numbers, they're moving up a lot faster now because it's performing more searches because I have less of a delay, which changes my sensitivity update speed because now it's updating every eighth of a second. And in about an eighth of a second, it's not too fast where it's not going to see the movement because it'll interpret that as a steady display of movement in the bobber. It's fast enough where it's gonna see the movement up and down, and hopefully it'll be above your threshold for the movement sensitivity. And I say hopefully, but with the value of 22, I can guarantee that it will be. It's going to be above your movement sensitivity threshold, which is something that I explained in a different video here in Fishmonger. So just my experience is, you have this set anywhere in the range of like 80 or even 100 to like 150, and you're going to be good. I default to like 125 or 150 or somewhere in that range. On my computer, because I have a fast computer and I can perform a lot of searches, it'll certainly work anywhere up to a quarter of a second pretty well. But if you want it to be a little bit more accurate, you can set this to a lower number. And oh, did you notice we had a little problem there? What happened was it timed out before the bobber actually went up and down, because we do not have our search index maximum number set properly. Right now we're at 75, and Fishmonger is searching so fast that the fishing bar does not get to the end before it hits the 75th search index, okay? So after you set your search delay and you're comfortable with where you're at, you want to adjust your search index maximum number, so pretty much it counts up and it hits your max number right when it kind of hits the end of the fishing session. So in order to set that, it's real simple. The way I do it is I look at my searching bar here, and I wait for it to get to the halfway point, and when it's at the halfway point, I look at what my index number is here. So in this case, I'm at about halfway here, and I was at a search index number of about 45 when that happened. So because I was halfway at 45, that means when I'm all the way up, I'm going to be at about 90, because 45 times 2 is 90. So if I set that up, you can see my search index max is now 90. So at a delay of 125, it's going to be about 90, which means that it's going to time out right about here. And of course, you can change that up or down a little bit if you're not quite hitting where you want to be. You want to be about right here when you stop, because it's just the easiest. You get the best results when you're fishing for as long as you can before you time out. Because normally the last fish gets caught around here, I think. They trigger at, random spots anywhere in here, but I'm pretty sure the last one goes about a half a second or a second before it actually ends, because it has to give you some time to catch it. But so you want it to be set to somewhere in this range. That's over here, somewhere in that range there. And if you have the search indexes set up right, you're going to get a much more accurate searching situation, and that in conjunction with the color sensitivity, the movement sensitivity, and all the other things I talk about in other videos, you can easily get Fishmonger set up to run at 100%. I do it all the time. It's not that difficult. In short periods of time, half hour at a time, to run at 100%. When you really get an idea of these settings and how they work, you can tweak Fishmonger up so it runs beautifully. I've gone for hours and hours at a time and only missed like 2, 3, 4 fish, and it's amazing. It's so efficient when that's the case. I mean, essentially, you're fishing at the fastest that Warcraft will allow you to fish. Can't fish any faster than this, because pretty much it's set up to, it'll catch it right when it moves, it'll throw it out right when it can. I mean, you know, how much quicker than this can you get? You can't. That's pretty much it. It's the efficiency and the speed and the power of the Fishmonger. So this is Fishmonger. I'm gonna be signing out. I've already plugged Warble Boom from Dead Meadow too many times, so I ain't gonna plug it again, even though I just plugged it by not plugging it. So that's essentially a plug. So I plugged it. What the hell? It's all cool. So this is Fishmonger. I'm signing out. I'm gonna leave you with the fact that if I see you out in the world, I'm gonna give you a smile. I'm gonna give you a hug. That's a new thing. I might hug you. I'm gonna give you a smile, a wink. I'm gonna grab you. I'm not gonna grab you. I might grab you. I don't know if you can do that emote, but I'll try it. I'll do a slash grab on you, and I'm gonna greet you with a hearty hello. I'm gonna wish you the best of luck on your fishing adventures, and as always, I'm gonna tell you to fish on. This is Fishmonger signing out.